If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome to the Morning Swim Show for Monday, July 15th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Today and tomorrow, we're going to do something fun on the show. We'll talk to the head coaches of two swim teams on opposite sides of the United States to see what similarities they might share and the differences that may set them apart. On today's show in the Finis Monitor, we'll be joined by Cliff Murray. He's the head coach of the Northern Lights Swim Club in Anchorage, Alaska. He's been coaching there for 15 years. And he joins us now from Anchorage via Skype. Cliff, it's good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Weather looks great out there in Anchorage. What's the high temperature?
We're probably looking mid-70s today.
Oh, we're in Phoenix, so that just makes us angry dealing with 105 right now. But you're probably on the opposite side of us. We're dreading this time of year. You're probably loving it, the constant sunshine, the great weather, and then you've got all that winter where it's dark and dreary and full of snow.
Yeah, it's long days right now. We're going to have short days coming up in the winter.
Well, you're a native of Alaska, correct?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I started my career coaching up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and then moved down here in '98.
What keeps you in Alaska?
Frankly, I think it's the best state to live in. There's not a whole lot of, overcrowding when it comes to, going places. You very rarely feel like you're in throngs of people, like in some places I've been in the States. And it's just, you can drive for 15 minutes and be out in the middle of nowhere and go for great hikes, fishing, camping, stuff like that. And it doesn't take long to get out there.
Yeah, it's probably the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Tell us about Anchorage, the city you're in right now.
Anchorage has about half the population of Alaska, around 300,000 people, and it's a pretty big city in that it has all the typical kind of American stores and stuff like that. It's got your Jamba Juices and Forever 21s and stuff like that. But it's also, like I said, it's right on the edge of just vast wilderness. So that's the kind of town that it is.
And by my count, there are 4 or 5 other swim teams besides yours in Anchorage, and I think about 30 in the state. That's a pretty good club to population ratio.
It is. We tend to get in Alaska. There tend to be, I think probably more teams than you would expect from the number of people that are in Alaska swimming, because so many of our communities are remote. There's only, if you're going to have swimming, there has to be a team there. Whereas, in some of the other places, you might have a team that could cover a much larger population base, just because there's so many people living around it. But if you're in a town of just a couple thousand people in Alaska, there's got to be a team there, because there's there's only one pool, one team, one pool.
Okay. And I would imagine, you got the harsh winters, you said. It's probably easy to attract kids to swimming. They got a sport that they can play indoors, and it's nice and comfortable.
Yeah, that's actually, in Alaska, it's a little bit of a backwards kind of way that we have people interested in swimming. It's in the winter that our swimming really takes off. We get a big bump every fall of kids that come out for swimming, and they stick with the sport all through the winter months. And then if they're going to take a break, they take the break in the summer. And it's hard to actually recruit new kids during the summer because they're all out enjoying the sun, it's just something that's such a brief period of time that we have the weather like this that everybody just gets out and plays. So they'll step away from swimming because it's an indoor sport in Alaska, and they'll go out and enjoy their t-ball and all that.
So how many year-round swimmers are you able to retain in Northern Lights?
Year-round, comp team swimmers, we probably keep around, year-round 100, 120. And then seasonally, when we get our bump in the fall, it might bump up to about 160.
Okay, so it's still pretty good, pretty consistent that you're seeing these swimmers all year.
Yeah. We have a fairly strong swim program as well with about 300 participants in it. So we have a good feeder program coming into the team.
If a family was looking for a swim team in Anchorage to join, what sets Northern Lights apart from the others?
There are several good teams in Anchorage, and I think that one of our strengths is that we have a really steady coaching staff. We have a pool that is not affected by high school season at all. There's no high school team that practices at our primary pool. So we're able to keep our practice schedule steady throughout the year without being interrupted by high school practices. And I just think that we have such a diverse staff that there's somebody on staff who is going to be able to work with your child.
And you talked about a steady coaching staff. I grew up swimming with one of your coaches, Ben Kitchen. How's he doing as a coach?
He's doing great. He actually runs our senior program, and he has been with Northern Lights longer than I have. He was already here when I got here, and just it's been nice having somebody with that kind of longevity with the team.
Yeah, he was a great sprinter to race against, and I would imagine he's taken all that history he had growing up in St. Louis to bring that wealth of knowledge to the swimmers in Anchorage.
He's an outstanding coach, and I'm lucky to have him on staff.
Well, Alaska hasn't had a major swimming name come out of the state that I know of. And of course, there are many other states that have that issue, so it's not like Alaska's the only one. But what's the biggest challenge to getting swimmers from Alaska to break out into the national scene, either at the junior or the senior level?
I think there's two things that are a big challenge for us. And first, geographical. It's we're just so far away from not only each other, but being able to swim with any sort of competition from the contiguous states. So I think that probably Alaska and Hawaii probably share those same kind of difficulties. If we want to get to a meet where we're not swimming against the same people that we always swim against, we have to travel 1,500 miles to get there. If we want to compete against another team in the state, it's a 6-hour drive or an hour-and-a-half flight, and it just gets to be expensive. So, that's geographical difficulties are the primary thing. The second thing is kind of related to that. It's we get kids who are pretty good swimmers. They kind of get Alaska locked, where they are just kind of competing in Alaska all the time, and they kind of get that big fish syndrome, big fish, small pond. So we have about 2,200 swimmers in Alaska swimming, give or take, and if you are a pretty decent swimmer, you can be at the top of the food chain here, whereas you might just be a run-of-the-mill swimmer someplace else. So it's a big challenge for us to get those kids to those other meets so that they can see that there's another level to the sport.
Or kind of maybe they feel like they don't want to take the chance of getting out of that mental capacity of winning every race. They don't want to take the chance of maybe I won't win. I'm even getting third at a big junior nationals probably makes them feel uncomfortable.
Getting them to the point where it's not about the medal that you may or may not win, the ribbon. Getting them to the point where there's an intrinsic value to going and challenging yourself in a pool with people that you don't know, people that you don't swim with all the time, and using their, these other talents that are in the pool with you, using them to your advantage and pushing yourself and getting outside that comfort zone and pushing your envelope just makes you a better swimmer. So it's a challenge to get kids to wrap their minds around that. And it's something that we work hard for every year. We try to get kids to embrace that challenge and get out of state and push themselves and see where they stack up and come back, train hard, and try to move up that ladder.
Well, one swimmer I think who could be a great role model for that is the former swimmer of yours, Margot Adams. She's now at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and she got second at the NCAAs in the 100 fly. Big breakthrough swim for her and the college program there. It's got to be real exciting for you to see her doing so well.
It's exciting to see our kids do well in college, and Margot is a great example of that. She is actually swimming for my former age group coach up at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, Scott Lumley, and I just thought it was a great fit. It was something where some other universities, colleges weren't really working out for her. Things weren't kind of clicking together, and I made that call up to Scott, and it was a fortuitous call because he'd just gotten off the phone with somebody who had turned down a scholarship, and he had one scholarship left. So that worked out great. She seems to be blossoming up there and having a great career, so it's really nice.
Any current swimmers on your team that have the potential to follow in Margot's footsteps?
We're a pretty young team right now when it comes to senior level swimming on our team. A lot of freshmen and sophomores. I think we have some kids that may have that potential. Her younger brother Nathaniel is a sophomore on our team right now. He's one. We've got some other boys and girls who are all in that kind of freshman, sophomore, maybe even junior category where they'd be making that next step. And we actually are pretty proud of the fact that every year we probably graduate 6 or 7 kids out of our program, out of high school, and more than half of those kids go on and swim in college. And we're pretty proud of that. It doesn't matter what level of swimming they are in, but we are just proud of the fact that they are embracing that next level and keeping in the sport.
And a lot of those swimmers do go down to the lower 48 for college, correct?
Yeah, a majority of them do. And we've got swimmers right now at Boise State, UAF. We have a swimmer going down to swim at a small private school on the East Coast. We've got another swimmer who's headed to Oregon State. It's just all around. We've got kids going all around the country. We've got a boy this year who's going to be a senior, and he's looking hard at trying to get into the Naval Academy. So we got kids who are really broadening horizons. Yeah,
that's got to be really great for you to know that you're fostering the future of this sport, no matter what kind of level they swim at, because I think that's the main goal of the sport is to make them lifelong participants.
And I think that if there's one kind of statistic that I'm most proud of is that rate of graduates going on and swimming in college. I think that's probably the best testament to the program that we run. We've got kids who want to keep swimming, who want to keep challenging themselves and move onward and upward.
Well, Cliff, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. It's great learning more about your team, the Northern Lights Swim Club, and Alaska swimming in general. It's great that there are still some great swimming going on up there, whether it's just in the state or whether they kind of venture out into other parts of the United States. No matter what it is, it's great to see that they're swimming.
Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, Jeff.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Northern Lights Swim Club head coach Cliff Murray joining us on the Morning Swim Show. Now, as I said, we're talking to 2 swim coaches on opposite sides of the country, and tomorrow we'll head to Southern Florida for an interview with the head coach of the AK Sharks, Lou Manganiello, in Miami. We hope to see you then. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.